This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, Lynners, and welcome to another captivating episode of the LCTV News. Residents have much to look forward to with the opening of a brand new park and additional investments in existing open spaces. End your July right by attending any of the many community gatherings scattered around the city in the next week. And get an update from the Parking Department and United Lynn Pride while you're at it. With that, let's jump right into the final July news segment. If you go by Lynn Common anytime between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Thursday afternoons, you will see the Food Project's Summer Farmers Markets in full swing. Featuring produce from several local vendors, this market is unique in that they accept SNAP benefits, as well as payments via card or cash. LCTV was down there yesterday to capture all the action.
A part of our mission is that we want to serve our community with fresh produce, and we want to continue building a sustainable food system, especially with working across different backgrounds of both youth and adults as a part of our mission, which is why we decide to have it here in Lynn, but we also have markets in Dudley and Dorchester.
So we host our markets every Thursday from 11 to 3. So yeah, a lot of our customers they use EBT cards, and we gladly accept that. Yeah, we have a very changing variety of vegetables, and produce is getting a little expensive, so it's really important that we can provide healthy and affordable food to the community. I got involved with this personally because I was really interested in agriculture. I really wanted to farm. Honestly, doing this makes me feel like I've made a difference in my community.
I've been working here since 2022, so right after I turned 14, that was the year I turned 15, and kind of similar to Ella's reasoning, I also wanted to do it just to make a difference in my community. I know that I love the city of Lynn, and I've been familiar with the food project ever since I grew up around the Ingalls Farm, which is where we also cultivate most of our plants. My later years of elementary school, I would say 3rd grade to 5th grade is when we first started planting beans and lettuce and helping harvest during the fall, which was really fun for me. And I wanted to do that same thing for my community, just finding a way to give back. And as a Build a Garden peer leader this year, I feel like I've been able to do so much. I love watching the smile on people's faces when they get fresh produce or just a garden bed built in their community space. I think that's just so beautiful to me.
On Monday, July 21st, the City of Lynn announced the official opening of Harbor Park. Spanning nearly 30 acres, this park is a significant step forward in transforming this public space and making the waterfront more accessible. Built on what was once an industrial landfill, Harbor Park now offers more than 2 miles of walking paths, basketball and pickleball courts, and an outdoor amphitheater, which can seat up to 150 people. And this is only the first phase, as the park will continue to grow, eventually adding an outdoor fitness area, a playground, and easier connections to both Lynn Shore Drive and Nahant Beach. This ongoing project is a collaborative effort between the City of Lynn, the Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, Charter Development, EDIC, and local residents. The inclusive, beautiful space was designed to create new opportunities for walking and gathering, as well as a new place to enjoy the coastal views. As stated by Mayor Jared Nicholson, quote, "This park is a product of a strong private-public partnership committed to creating more accessible green space to our residents. The city has been committed to providing better access to our waterfront, and the Harbor Park is a place that brings our community together, opens new recreational possibilities, and reconnects the people of Lynn with the harbor that belongs to all of us," end quote. A formal ribbon cutting will be held in mid-September. Keeping with city updates, the City Council unanimously approved a budget of $2.35 million allocated to install new lights at McManus and Fraser Fields. This vote comes 4 months after a multi-million-dollar renovation to transform McManus Field into a multi-use, state-of-the-art athletic complex was announced. Many high school football and soccer teams utilize the full length of the field. Add on the fact that poles on the left side of Fraser Field have gone from 18 to 5 working lights over the past few years, and there is cause for an upgrade. Councilors Fred Hogan and Brian Field spoke in support of the budget, stating that kids, athletes, and the entire city of Lynn deserve this state-of-the-art facility. In preparation for the 2025 Lynn Arts and Culture Festival, let's take a look back at the 2024 installment. Covering 5 locations and the entire city, each place offered their own unique piece of Lynn, ranging from art making to free food to other activities.
The 2024 Lynn Arts and Culture Festival featured activities across several locations around downtown Lynn, all connected via a free trolley. The first stop of the day for the LCTV crew was High Rock Tower.
Downstairs we have an ice cream truck, we have glitter tattoos as well, so people can get off the trolley and enjoy those downstairs. And then for those that want to have a bit of an adventure, they can come up inside the tower and see the inside of the tower, which has nice viewing platforms, as well as this nice 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. We also have a solar telescope attached to it, and so with both of these telescopes we're looking at sunspots.
After High Rock, we jumped on the trolley, which featured free music, to head down to Central Square. There we had many choices of what to do next, but walked past art on the traffic island to Raw Artworks, where they were showing off artwork from their students and inviting everyone to share their dreams.
We are excited to be able to invite people to do some creative dreaming with us. They're being invited to help us create a coloring page that expresses all of the dreams that people have for the city of Lynn.
This is the Dream Portal. The idea is that folks can step inside and share a dream that they have for the city of Lynn. Lynn is changing a lot right now, and we want folks' dreams and voices to be a part of shaping that change.
After Raw, we went down to the studios at the Lynn Museum and Art Center to check out their latest exhibit and art making.
Today at the galleries at Lynn Arts, we are your local lemonade stand during the Lynn Arts and Culture Festival. We got 2 flavors. This is actually the last week of our Lore of the Local exhibition, which is dedicated to all the sights, sounds of the North Shore, predominantly the Lynn area. It's a great way to get familiar with the city of Lynn through art. We have our art bar set up behind us where people are walking in, grabbing art supplies, sitting down at a table and making some art that they can take home with them for the day.
Speaking of making art, Beyond Walls has had artists creating murals yet again this year.
Our mission is to activate public spaces to strengthen communities, but what we're most known for and renowned for is putting up really large-scale epic pieces of street art. So the tours today are part of what Beyond Walls does, which is offering tours to the public and tours to youth groups of the street art of the city that we've been installing since 2017, of not just the existing artwork, but some of the new artwork that's actually underway here in the city. We point out and talk about the other art and cultural establishments that are here in the city that make the city so great.
Across from one of the new murals in Central Square was the Lynn Museum, our last stop of the day. Here, the museum was open with free admission and featured an art fair in the connecting park.
Welcome to the museum here at 590 Washington Street. Today we are open as part of the Lynn Arts and Culture Festival, as well as our second Saturday series. So we are free and open today for folks to explore our gallery spaces. We also have an art making activity for families and anyone that wants to participate. And then if you happen to wander into our park, we're hosting a vendor fair organized by Lynn Main Streets. So great place to buy locally made goods. It's always a highlight for the summer. So we're a longtime partner, and we're glad that we can continue to support this effort. A happy Lynn Arts and Culture Festival, and we'll see you next summer.
Lynn Main Street's plans to hold this event every year in early August, so keep your eyes peeled next summer for the next installment.
Zion Baptist Church was full of residents, homeowners, landlords, and elected officials the night of the 23rd for a forum to discuss rising housing costs. Specifically, they were discussing the rent control bill S1447/H2328, which would limit annual rent increases and require landlords to have just cause for eviction in Massachusetts. Of the 4 legislators in attendance, 3 spoke out with concerns over the bill. Senator Brendan Crichton voiced concerns that this bill could actually make housing more expensive by interfering with more housing being built or landlords investing in their properties. Representative Jenny Armeni expressed similar sentiments and asked if there were other ways to prevent price gouging by landlords. While Rep. Dan Cahill brought up the point of landlords using rent control as an excuse for not maintaining units or converting their apartments to condos to avoid rent control altogether. Rep. Sean Reed had a different opinion, citing the current housing crisis as an emergency situation, stating they need another tool to try and increase options for residents. This forum was put on by Lynn United for Change and ECHO. The former leader of the Lynn chapter of the Trinitarios gang, Aaron Diaz Lorenzo, aka Sosa, was sentenced on July 16th in federal court. Lorenzo was sentenced to 14 years in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release for racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations conspiracy charges. Diaz Lorenzo was arrested in February, and in March he pled guilty to conspiracy to conduct enterprise affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity, also known as a RICO conspiracy. The Trinitarios are a violent criminal enterprise with groups across the United States. From at least 2021 to 2025, Diaz Lorenzo was the leader, or number 1 of the Lynn chapter of the Trinitarios. He also admitted to participating in a shooting that took place in March of 2019, which targeted a rival gang outside a Lynn nightclub and left 3 badly injured. Diaz Lorenzo was also one of 22 Trinitario members to be charged with federal racketeering back in February. As we enter into warmer and warmer weather, there are a greater number of walkers around the city. Therefore, the City of Lynn's Parking Department is adjusting fines for those who park on the sidewalk, obstructing the path of pedestrians. But I will let the parking director tell you more. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we welcome back on Jessica, the parking director for the City of Lynn Parking Department. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course. I know it's not your favorite thing, but I promise we'll make it quick and easy. We're just going to stick to the script, which for you is parking on sidewalks. That is a big issue in the city, yes.
Parking on sidewalk.
it has become a big problem in the city. A lot of our streets are so narrow that cars feel like they need to get half of their car, if not all of their car, off of the street. But that creates a safety issue, and we can't get wheelchairs, baby carriages, or just civilians walking down the street. So it has come before Traffic Commission, and Traffic Commission has voted to increase the violation. So parking on a sidewalk the violation is now $50 instead of $30. We have decided for the next couple of weeks we're going to give out flyers for cars that we know, for streets that we know usually park on the sidewalks, and then we're going to start issuing the citations.
To give people a little bit of leeway, right? You know, just because they may genuinely not hear about it, so you want to give them that.
Right. So that's what we try to do that with the snow permits also. We kind of give them a couple of weeks. I have my second shift, third shift go out and put flyers on cars, again, on the streets that we know are notorious for it. Just to give a heads up that this is what's happening. And then we give citations, but it's usually 2 to 3 weeks that we'll give the warning first, which is the flyer, and it will look like it's a citation, but it's really just a warning.
Okay, it's really something. So you may not like the increase, but like you said, the big thing is it's a safety concern. You know, you don't want anyone, wheelchair, carriage, or even just a person, to have to go out onto the street to get around a car, because that's not safe.
So we were getting a lot of calls for that, especially from people in wheelchairs that were saying that they had to go into the street, or they would have their dog or another person with them, and they couldn't safely walk down the street. So we can't have that. I think another big concern for people parking on sidewalks is they have garages at their cars, because cars are so much bigger than they originally were when houses were built. So they can't fit their cars in the garage, so they'll park half on their property, and then the back end of their car will be blocking the sidewalk, so we can't have that either. So the flyer does show a picture of that, where your car is half in the garage spot and half on the sidewalk. So you too will get a violation and a notice that you can't park like that.
But you're being very transparent, very forward about it, of this is what's allowed, this isn't.
Exactly.
Because up to now, you said it's a little bit of discretion with parking enforcement. They may go and see someone's a little bit on the sidewalk, but if people can safely pass, like, that's okay.
So I tell them to use their discretion. However, what we might think is okay, I now have other departments that have invested money in sidewalks, like DPW, community development, and they're calling and they're like, hey, can you go down there and ticket them? Because we just paid for a brand new sidewalk, and people are on it, and the weight of the car is crumbling the sidewalk, so we can't have that. But then again, we kind of give a warning first, because we can tell who we've given a warning to and who we haven't. It will come up, so we can tell. So if we've given you a couple of warnings, we have no other choice but to give you a violation for it.
Because at that point, I mean, you've gotten it. I mean,
most people know. If you're parking on the sidewalk and you have like maybe 2 tires on, versus having your whole car on the sidewalk, and that might sound crazy, but cars do that. They'll park their whole car on the sidewalk, and people will have to go all the way in the street to get around.
You said it sounds crazy, but no, I've seen it. I've seen places where I go and like, okay, there's a car. Okay, we're gonna go around it, and that's just me walking. I don't even have anything else.
Yeah, and it's not fair, and it creates a safety issue. And if we're adults and we have to do that, what about the kids that are going to school, or the after-school programs, or it's summer, and that's why we're kind of like taking this initiative to get the information out there now. Is that kids are out, they're biking, they're walking, they're going to their summer programs, and we want them to be safe.
Yeah, you definitely want them to be safe and maybe get this initiative off the ground going, and then once kids go back to school as well, if they're biking, walking to school, at that point, this has been more established, right?
Exactly. So we're also asking that if you live on a street that's very narrow and you have neighbors that are parking on the street, and you want to give us a call, just to send. It's not so much like 1-800-DROP-A-DIME, but more like, can you let my neighbors know that they can't do this? And again, we are going to give a warning. It's not going to be an immediate citation.
No.
But we need to know. We know of some streets that are notorious for it, but there are residential areas that we're not familiar with, that it does happen in, that we want to make sure that they're aware of the information too. And we won't know unless, neighbors call and say, my street is a bad street, can you come and just give out some flyers?
Exactly. And like you were even saying to me, you only have 9 people in your department in a city of 130,000, you're saying like 60,000 cars. You do need some help with that because you can't be everywhere at once.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's why I say when people call and they're like, I live on such and such street and you never come down here. I'm like, hold on. I just want to tell you how much staff I have. And then I can look it up and I'm like, you said don't come down your street, but in this year I've given 1,000 tickets on your street for numerous, violations. So I do come down your street. You might not always see us, but we're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're in the areas, like you said, that maybe you've identified as you tend to give a lot of citations there. Like you said, the narrower streets, there are a lot of those in Lynn. It's an older city. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and I live in the city, so I travel the city
Yeah,
streets
exactly.
all the time. I make notes. This is a Chatham Street is one of the streets that's very narrow, and that's a street that cars are notorious for getting on completely on the sidewalk. There's on Chatham Street, there's Ingalls School, there's the kids that come from Marshall, the kids that come from English. 3 big schools on this one long street, and the cars are on the sidewalk. Mm. It's a lot of potential hazards.
Yeah. And if you think your car's not safe sticking out, it's definitely not safe for a kid to be out in the middle of the street, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm sure you've seen it too there's been so much construction in the city as well, especially during the summer, that even adds to it because that can make streets even narrower, that can cause detours or other elements like that.
Exactly, or just restrict parking altogether, right? And as we were talking earlier, we said, what do you do in that case? I had a call today from French Street. The water department was working on French Street, and the residents were like, hey, where do we park? There's already no parking on one side of the street. Now we have completely no parking.
Right.
And what we say is go to the nearest lot. For them, it would be the School Street, Ellis Street lot. You do have to pay the kiosk to go in there, but if someone can't afford to pay to park in there, they can give us a call, and we know the time restrictions, so we'll kind of look the other way for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be fair about it too, of course.
Absolutely.
And in some cases too, like you might even have, like with the UV pump station being installed there's temporary passes that can be given out for residents so that they're still able to park around there.
So in that case, what the mayor has done, he's asked us to create temporary resident passes on certain streets, which we have done. We've also told them, listen, if you're having guests and you forget to do a visitor pass or something, just give us a call, right? We're trying to accommodate everyone through all of this.
Right.
It's a lot. The best thing to do, if there's any question, or just to reach out.
Yeah. And you've said it, multiple times, calling, reaching out. You want people to reach out and communicate with you.
Right.
That
I don't
really
want to
is
give a ticket, regardless of what people think. We're not here just to give tickets, right? We want to help you alleviate whatever parking issues residents have. So the best thing to do is to call.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, people might think, oh, you just want to give tickets. You're like, no, I don't.
I don't, and I don't have the staff.
It's like, no, I don't want to be 50 places. I really just want to help educate and show you so that everybody can be safe in this scenario.
Absolutely. And there's parking here. The city has enough city lots and on-street parking. It's just, it's not always going to be right in front of the place that you want to go to or right in front of your house.
No. Oh, no, I've had to walk pretty far down the street before going to City Hall or other places. You find it, but sometimes you gotta look a little bit.
Yeah, especially at night, our city lots are more than half empty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so during the day, our lots are full for day permits, but night permits, they're pretty empty.
So you could maybe get into one of those if you happen to live near one.
From 7 at night to 7 in the morning. And you wouldn't have to worry about it.
There you go.
And your car would be nice and safe.
That's true. Lot parking is very much can be favored by some. I'm trying to think. I feel like we ran through everything. You were just knocking out all the questions.
Giving you everything.
Yes, you were. But I know I've probably been a moment, but was there anything else that I hadn't mentioned about sidewalk parking or anything else that had been mentioned?
I just say that if anyone ever has any concerns or parking issues or future questions, or they see notices coming on their, at their door saying that they have no parking towards the end of the week or whatever time, just to give us a call. and we'll try to help within every way that we can.
All right, well, that all sounds good. And I want to thank you again so much for really coming on to give this information and let people in the city know how the park department's doing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. And of course, you can go online to the City of Lynn's website to learn more. Call them if you have any questions. But once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. A trio of navigators suited up for the North Division in the 2025 New England Collegiate Baseball All-Star Game on Sunday, July 20th. Catcher Ayuka Kai of Vanderbilt, infielder Alex Marotte from Charleston Southern were North position players, with Zach Kittrell of Alabama earning a spot as a relief pitcher. Merritt is currently leading the Navigators with a .271 average, 2 doubles, 1 triple, 6 RBIs, and 6 runs scored over 19 games, while Key boasts a .260 average with 20 hits, including 3 doubles and a homer, along with 4 RBIs and 7 runs scored over 22 games. Kittrell has thrown 9.1 innings, striking out 17 compared to just 2 unearned runs this summer. While the Red Sox have faltered coming out of the All-Star break, they went 1 for 3 against the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Sox have the most difficult second-half schedule, and it's showing. In their most recent game on the 23rd, it took 11 innings and 9 runs to avoid being swept by the Phillies. You may have seen the exhibit Through a Rainbow Lens, a reflection on Lynn's LGBTQ+ history last year. Or maybe you experienced it virtually on United Lynn Pride's website. But did you know that this is an award-winning project recognized nationally? One of the project creators, Jim Moser, joined us on the Lowdown to discuss the significance of winning this award. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we welcome on Jim Moser, the project director for Through a Rainbow Lens, a very impressive whole 2-year event about LGBTQ+ history in Lynn. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course, we'll start with the most impressive thing about it is you and your team just got a very prestigious award, the AASLH Albert B. Corey Award. That is a lot of words, but it is very impressive that you got that.
It's the American Association for State and Local History, and we were applying for just an award of excellence because we thought the project was pretty good, and they gave us this Albert B. Corey Award, which is above and beyond. It's they don't give it out every year, and they only give one out if they do. Wow. So it's really the top honor they give out, and we're jazzed. We're really excited about it.
I know it's so amazing that you got it, and of course people want to know through a rainbow lens, what was this project? I mean, it was a very long endeavor. What was the purpose of it?
Yeah, we did. We wanted to tell the story of Lynn's LGBTQ history, and it was about a 15-month project. The heart and soul of the project really was 32 interviews we conducted with members of Lynn's LGBTQ community. And people really opened up about their lives and their experiences, and we learned a lot. We also found 200 relevant news articles. We found 200 news articles. People contributed photos and flyers and things like that. We got 1,400 images from the community from 42 different people. And we rolled it all up into a website and then an exhibit at the Lynn Museum. And I have to thank Danica Thurston for suggesting that we do an exhibit. It wasn't in the project plan. And she said, we can do this. And we did it. And it turned out to be great because we got the whole community together for the exhibit. So we did the exhibit. Then we did a virtual 360-degree exhibit from that, so we captured it all in cyberspace or whatever. I don't know how it all works. And we have a YouTube channel, and so it was a great project, and it's been awarded.
Said, which is, I mean, you put so much work into it. It was you, and then it was a 4-member team, correct, that worked on this whole thing?
Yes. So Christian Racinos, the executive director of United Lynn Pride, was part of the team, and right from the start, and helped us formulate the project. Professor Drew Darian from Salem State did all the oral history interviews. And then Pat Kazemba, who's a retired professor from Salem State, was an LGBTQ history advisor. She actually started research on working class gay and lesbian bars back in the 1980s, wrote a paper on it, and that's how we found her.
Oh, really? So you went online and saw it? Yeah,
and so I connected with her on Facebook, and she was really hesitant because she thought I was a student trying to get her to write my term paper.
You went, not quite.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite. Like, I'm flattered you think I'm a student, but no. No, I mean, the way the team worked, it was amazing. I remember I was at the launch last year, and it was amazing to see the public reception, how positive it was. I mean, you had a lot of people turn out for that and really see it.
Yeah, and there was a time when the community was all together, when the gay bars were open. People got together all the time, and then the gay bars closed. And so this was really the first time, I think, in 8 years when the community got back together, and it was great.
And you were asking people, when you said people showed up with the images, the pictures, and basically you kind of told them, hey, go and see if you have anything in storage or anything from when you were younger to bring it back out.
People went through their basements and their closets, and sadly a lot's been lost. People move and they downsize, and there are fires, and people give stuff away and forget who they gave it to. So it was really, I was happy for what we found. One of the holy grails of things I was looking for was, did anybody have video of a drag show from France? And we actually, the guy in New Hampshire sent me some video drag show at Fran's place.
I remember I saw that. That was impressive that you were able to get that.
Yeah. It was a lot of detective work. We were chasing people for 15 months.
And I said, you were, and the gay bars, that ended up being a huge piece of the history. One of the oldest gay bars was in Lynn, and I didn't realize how big that was in terms of the history for LGBTQ plus people.
Yeah, the first gay bar that we know of in Massachusetts was at 776 Washington Street. It was called the Lighthouse. That's 2 words for some reason. And at that location, well, that one burned, and Fran's place was put at that same location. So 79 years at that same location.
Wow.
There was a gay bar in Lynn.
And you also mentioned, too, the oral history. You said people opened up about their lives, and you got to hear from them all these incredibly personal stories about growing up.
Lynn's a very diverse place, racially and ethnically, and a lot of people told of that being a factor in their being accepted in Lynn, because, like all the families on the street were a little different.
Yeah, everyone's a little different, so yet they fit together.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works, which is funny if you think about it. And now, you said all of the research that you've amassed for people who want to see it, it's actually at City Hall as well now, in their art gallery in the 3rd floor. Yes,
we had a chance. The exhibit was like 6 months at the Lynn Museum. Then we moved it to Salem State University for probably another 6 months. And now it's gone into Lynn City Hall. And I urge people to see it because it is the award-winning exhibit. It's not 100% of the exhibit, but it's most of it.
So people can see that, and then they'll also be able to see the documentary that you said you completed, which was another 6 months after it, really discussing all the history that's now released to the public.
That was a new project, and it's available. It's public on YouTube. It's called Finding Refuge, Demanding Equality, A Century of LGBTQ plus Lynn. And it's a story of progress.
Yeah.
The gay bars used to be really dangerous places, and we moved from being secretive and being in danger to electing openly LGBTQ city officials like Coco Allensug and Tiffany Magnolia, and I just think that's a wonderful progression, and the film captures that progress.
No, it definitely does. I mean, I saw it, and it's incredibly well done. It's very factual, but it's also very moving because you get to hear from so many people the experiences they had when they were younger versus now. When you said it's more accepted, people are more open, we have elected officials, and you can be who you are with less fear. At least from what I gathered. That was what I got from the documentary.
Absolutely. But we can't relax. We can't take it for granted.
No, yeah.
The rights that we've gained can be taken away. And that's why this project is so important, because we need to record our history, or else it gets forgotten or it gets erased. And there was an article, National Park Service did an article celebrating LGBTQ American history. And there was an Essex County woman who was convicted of cross-dressing in the 17th century. So that was part of our research. And when I applied for this award, I wanted to reference that.
Yeah.
It was gone from the National Park Service website. It had been erased because the word had gone down, erase everything trans. And luckily I found a copy in an archive. But, we have to protect what we've gained.
Yeah, protect that history so it can't just be erased, because it happened. It's history, and people need to know it and remember it.
Yeah.
And celebrate it.
And there's so many reasons to be proud of Lynn's LGBTQ history.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the two women who got their very first same-sex marriage license in the whole United States met while they were working at the GE in Lynn. And they were big union activists at Lynn, and they were very successful getting comparable wages for women at the GE. We've got famous people. Alex Newell is the first non-binary actor to win a Tony Award. We've got Jack Noseworthy, who's a Hollywood and Broadway actor. We've got Rashida Ellis, who is a world champion. There's no boxer better than her in her class.
Nope.
And we've got Jazul Escada, who's was on an HBO Max series featured. And then there's some, those are the famous people. And then we discovered some unsung heroes people didn't know about. There was actually a guy in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, used to ride his motorcycle around New England advocating for gay rights. His name was Robert Dow. And he was the president of Boston's premier gay rights organization.
Wow, really?
And he was from Lynn. They even had, this Boston organization had a picnic on Lynn Beach. But nobody knew about him. And that's what's great about this project, is there's all these stories that nobody knew or one person knew, and now everybody can know them.
Everybody can know them, everyone can see them as they're amplified through this project. And I mean, I could probably sit here all day talking about it, but I know I have to wrap up in a moment. But I just have to thank you again so much for coming on to talk about this project, which congratulations on your award and the project group. It's very well deserved.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here, and I hope people go to the website and look at the website, look at the documentary, the virtual museum. There's a lot there to explore.
I'm looking forward to doing it myself when I have a few spare minutes. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown. Check out the exhibit, the museum, any of it. And once again, we will see you next week with more guests. In July of 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act was officially signed into law by President Bush. This landmark decision prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability in areas such as employment, public services, and transportation. Therefore, the Lynn Disability Network will be celebrating National Disability Independence Day and 35 years since the passage of ADA next Tuesday, the 29th. Come to Lynn City Hall at 6 p.m. to hear speeches and see a Disability Pride flag raising. Summer cookouts are back for July and August. Every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m., join Grace, UMC of Lynn, for their free community cookouts. Everyone in the community is welcome to attend this event, offering free burgers, hot dogs, music, and a good time. Located at 374 Broadway, come with friends or meet new ones at this family-friendly event. Finally, join Ward 4 Counselor Natasha Meji-Madre at the 2025 Community Fest on August 2nd. Running from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at High Rock Tower, this event will bring together community members and organizations for a fun, family-friendly afternoon. There will be free food while supplies last, music for kids, and several nonprofits displaying their wide range of services and information to attendees. Also, if you are interested in tabling or being a vendor for this event, contact Counselor Meji-Madre. A short one this week, but don't worry, we will be back next week with even more events and announcements. There is only a month left of summer, so organizations are looking to get all their last-minute celebrations into the next few weeks. To ensure you don't miss out on any of these festivities, follow at Lynn Community TV on social media. Our full election coverage will be launching next Monday the 28th, including candidate bios, videos, and the election calendar on our website, lyntv.org. And if your interest lies more in video content, spanning from interviews to VSAs, then Lynn Community Television on YouTube is your best bet. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.